you're going to need. You're going to need the plug out of the video transmitter, a male JST plug, the plug out of the LED driver board, the one with just 2 wires, the 2 step-down voltage regulators, a little piece of aluminium. This is going to act as a heatsink and it's going to be between the 2 boards, and then some heat shrink to finish it off. Right, so we'll start by soldering this plug onto this board. If you turn the board over, you will notice there's an arrow, and that is basically the direction of the current, the way it's the direction it's going to go through. So this is the input side and this is the output side. It's also got a minus and a positive. So this is the output side, and on the output side we're going to want to put our plug for the gimbal. Obviously positive is the plus, the red is the plus. We're just going to want to solder that on there. Now you'll notice there's 2 holes on the output side. They are both they're connected. So these two holes are connected, and these 2 holes are connected. Which basically means you could either put it on the inside hole, the plus on either hole of this side and the minus on either hole of this side. That doesn't matter at all. That's it for that one. And on this side we're going to want to put the positive and negative for the video lead, and the positive and negative, the LED lead, onto the corresponding pads. In this case, because we've got 2, we can put 1 on each pad to separate it. Next step is going to be to insulate these pads on this side and here, and mount this piece of aluminium around about there like that, so that it's not touching these contacts, and that's going to be sandwiched there between there like that. Right, so now what I've done is on both boards I've cut a little piece of insulation tape and put it on the output side of each board. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bit of aluminium, I'm going to put it between, but making sure that it's not touching these contacts up here. I'm going to put that one on there, like that, line them up, and then I cut another piece of heat shrink, and I'm going to use that just to secure it in place for now, and that's going to go around there, and I'm going to heat shrink that down, and that's going to hold it together. Once that's done, it's going to look something like this. Right, one thing I've just decided to change is I'm going to include a power filter between the step-down voltage regulator and the video transmitter. So basically what I've done is I've unsoldered this cable that we soldered before, and I've just added a wire, twisted wire, in its place, and between these 2 is going to be the filter. This is now going to be soldered into place. It's going to fit, it's going to be soldered onto these wires, heat shrinked, and then it's going to sit just in there like that. Right, so this is how it looks once it's been soldered in. You have to, on one side of the board, make sure that the red from the power module comes in and goes to the red side. But if you turn it over, that red is the negative on this side, so you have to cross 2 wires over to get to the other side, the corresponding polarities in the correct place. I hope that's clear enough. But basically, if you connect this wire onto the same pads on this side, you will have on one side a reverse polarity connection, and you need to cross 2 wires to avoid that. The next step is setting the voltage with a multimeter. Right, so the next stage is going to be to check all your electrical connections with a multimeter. You're going to want to turn it to the setting, the continuity setting, to check, see if you've got shorts. Basically, when you touch the 2 contacts, it will beep if there's a short. Obviously, the main test is going to be to put the 2 probes in where your battery goes, and you should not have any short. I would go over all of your connections everywhere and check them, make sure there's no shorts anywhere, and then once you've done that, you're going to need to change this to, in my case, DC, and the voltage 20, and you're going to want to set the voltage on this side to about 8.2 volts, and on this side it wants to be 12. So basically you're going to connect your battery, you're going to connect your multimeter to one side, and then you're going to turn the screw on the board until you get the voltage readout, what it should be on that plug. Right, so basically what I've got now is I've got my battery connected, and I've got my multimeter set to volts DC, and I'm going to measure the voltage coming out of this, just get these wires out of the way to make it a bit clearer. I'm going to measure the voltage coming out of this side of the step down regulator. So I'm going to measure that and see what it is. And as you can see, it's 9.8 at the minute. So what I'm going to do is, that's a bit high. I'm going to turn this screw, and then I'm going to check the voltage again. It's gone up to 14.6, so I turned the screw the wrong way. Now I know I need to turn the screw the opposite direction. Now if you're using a metal screwdriver when doing this, be careful not to make short contact when turning the screw. Now we're 9.07. Going to turn it a bit more. 5.9. I'm only turning the screw very, very slightly. 7.1. I'm hardly turning the screw at all to get this fine adjustment. 7.8. Actually didn't turn it at all then. 8.19. Right, so I've now got it installed. It's basically heat shrinked in there and just cable tied on through the hole down there with the cable tie. The aluminium heatsink I've left sticking out a little bit on this side to help disperse the heat a little bit. That's it for this video on the voltage regulator.